Benny, bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone!
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
No one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle.
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Welcome back to the Zedos Game podcast, 104. Joining me today is Kenan Akbulut from the Creative Control, the new podcast in the family, the Creative Control podcast. Say hello, Ken.
How you doing?
Not too bad. And we have newcomer Lee. No, second time. Is it the second time, Lee, that you've been in the podcast? Second time. Second time on the podcast, Mr. Lee. What is your last name, Lee?
Dixon.
Lee Dixon, Mr. Lee Dixon. How's things with you today, Lee?
Everything's right, Literally just went outside for a nice... I can't even tell you what the weather's like. It's hot, then it's cold.
Yeah, it's one of those days.
It's bipolar, man. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy summers. And last but not least, Mr. Satchman, the Satchland Productions, Satchland Prerogative Allari.
Yo,
I was trying to give you like one of the rappers have, or like the Wu-Tang have, like Method Man has like 58 names. I'm trying to give you all of the names that we know you by.
Satchland coming to Universal Studios next year.
Okay, and now we're done with the pleasantries. We'll get straight into it. First off on the list is the tax collector trailer. I'm gonna let you guys dive into this because I have not seen it.
Yeah, I just watched it today. I think it dropped like 4 or 5 days ago. Yeah, it's got a good vibe to it. It's is it David Ayer?
Yeah, David Ayer.
So it has got a little bit of that Training Day vibe. Shia LaBeouf is looking like a badass in this movie. Yeah, it looks like drugs, cartel, gangsters. Seems like this guy, he is the tax collector. He comes and gets his money from where he needs to get, and he uses whatever methods necessary. You've got, and I think he's going to have a little bit of a partner. He's got like a partner. Maybe he's not up to the brutality of what Shia LaBeouf does. So you're going to have that sort of like Denzel, Ethan Hawke kind of relationship. But yeah, first trailer, I dug it, man. Looks really good.
Okay. Sach, is this a Netflix film, right?
I'm not too sure. Was it a Netflix film or did you guys get it?
I don't remember it being a Netflix film. No,
I didn't see a Netflix logo on there.
Okay, so it's a
studio film.
It's a studio film that's going to be released in cinemas, or they hope it's released in cinemas, or it's going to be streaming and cinema. Because that seems to be the trend now.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. But you know what? The trailer really had me, and also I'm a fan of David Ayer's previous work.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you like about Suicide Squad. I actually enjoyed it for what it was, without looking too deeply into it. And that coming from me is kind of like a big compliment with DC films, So do you know what I mean? Like usually I shit on them for breakfast, but I didn't mind Suicide Squad, and lo and behold, there's a better take of it somewhere in the vaults of WB. I thoroughly enjoyed Sabotage, but again, the studio decided to shit on him by changing up the ending, but because the ending of that film didn't really quite fit the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. But saying that, I still enjoyed the movie. Harsh Times with Christian Bale, another bang-up movie. That was actually really, really good. And Days of Watch with Gyllenhaal. Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
This is his ballpark, man, and he's very good at telling these tales about gangsters, cartels, crooked cops, and stuff like that. I'm down for it, man. And seeing Shia LaBeouf in that trailer, my God, man, that guy is so intense, like next level intense. And you know, say what you like about Shia LaBeouf, the guy can act. I'm sorry, if you haven't seen, if you can't acknowledge that, you clearly haven't seen anything that he's been in post Transformers or even during Transformers, because you know what, he wasn't even that bad in those films either. It's just the movies were give or take to people's tastes, you know. And he's just always been on point. If you've seen his most recent stuff like Honey Boy and what was that? There was some other film that came out. He came out with 2 films that came out last year, and they were both like double whammies, man. And the guy's a talent. Everyone thought he was down and out last year, and he just came back from the ashes with Honey Boy. And
down and out. I think that was a few years ago.
Was it a few years ago?
Do you know when he did that whole performance of him having a bag over his head, watching his own movies with the camera? And yeah, that was a while ago. He's fixed himself up now. He's done a number of programs to help people in California. If I remember correctly, and he's fixed himself up completely. He's a changed man. I do like him.
We get him back into the indie franchise.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, that's probably the best thing for him, to be quite honest, because then he's going to get greater roles like this, hook up with like up and coming directors, or even like, you know, you'll get like a Scorsese or someone take notice out of this stuff, and that will probably bring him up into the leagues. And if he plays his cards right, he doesn't need to do them big money Marvel films and big franchises again. He's done it. You know what I mean? I think he knows what comes with that. So doing a project like this, where it's a cop thriller, where people can take him serious, and especially it being by David Ayer, you know what I mean? Fuck it, yeah, I'm in, man. This film looks great.
When the trailer dropped, a lot of people went online and were like, "Oh, he's playing like a Latino character. Like, it's like brown facing." But he's actually playing a white character in the movie. David Ayer's come out on Twitter and said, you know, that isn't the case. This isn't what's happening. He's a white boy who grew up in the hood, and I think he's like the only white actor in the movie.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, it's a cinema release August 7th, apparently.
August. Okay. All right. Okay. Cinemas are back. Lee, what did you make of it?
I think it was great. I think Shia LaBeouf's going to kill this film, man. Because you got to remember films like Lawless that he started with Tom Hardy.
Yeah, I remember Lawless. Yeah,
he was serious in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's that kind of character actor that literally he can play like a lot of roles, and when he wants to play serious, he can play serious. Even that meme with him going around when he was playing that angry face, like what was he saying? Focus, and like, you know what I mean? It's things like that. Whereas you can see that literally he's had his ups and downs as an actor, but he's done with all the kind of baby roles now. So now you can see that he's more in it. Like, because even we're talking about like David Ayer, like you gotta remember he cast him in the movie Fury. I remember Fury, and he was serious within that as well. So even watching the trailer and everything, I'm just thinking to myself, like David Ayer's got this on point, and obviously him casting Shia LaBeouf as the main role, like literally this movie's gonna be bad, man. I know it. Like I saw it, I was just like, yo, like I ain't seen something like this in a long time. You know what I mean? Is it on the scope of like what Training Day was like in this type of feel? It's that even we forget that David Ayer made Bright. Bright wasn't the greatest movie, but it's true, the whole kind of like gangs and stuff like that. Yeah, even that was kind of like sci-fi. Like we kind of run along those kind of roads with, all right, then like you can see that he knows about the gang culture and things like that, and gangs and things like that. So it's like having Shia LaBeouf play this kind of crooked character, again, you know what I mean, but more serious, intense role. You can see it's going to be a big film, man, definitely. Right.
Didn't he write Training Day as well?
David Ayer.
I think he wrote it.
I'll have a look. You guys continue talking. I'll have a look.
Yeah.
But Fury definitely is my best David Ayer film, like 100%.
Yeah. Well, see, LaBeouf's method, man, because like in Fury, he had a real tooth pulled.
Oh yeah,
for the scene. Of course, and apparently, and apparently for this, he actually got a huge tattoo done on his chest, like permanent.
Ooh.
So I don't know how much of that tattoo is real, because if you see one of the pit stills, like from the promotion thing, he's got like tattoo over his shoulders, arms, chest, and stomach and stuff. But apparently, he got a big tattoo on his chest that's permanent for the role. So Yeah,
Jesus.
man's method. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Twitter, I saw that on Twitter and a few other places. David Ayer did write Training Day.
Yeah, so I'm saying, LaBeouf even. I remember him even hearing stories that he had a punch up with Tom Hardy and Lawless.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think he got it to him to hit him properly. Yeah.
Bane almost knocked him out. I have just had a little bit of a look at the trailer as well. It looks really good. Really good. I don't. What's the last David Ayer film I saw? I guess it was Fury. I enjoyed Fury. I really enjoyed Fury. I haven't seen Bright or what was the other one he did?
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I haven't seen Suicide Squad. I've been told that it's really good though.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen Fury. It's one of those movies that everyone's like, it's a great movie, and it's just one of those I haven't got around to.
You will, and when you do,
yeah. But he did Street Kings, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Street Kings.
Did he do? Yeah, that's a good film.
Yeah, Street Kings was really good.
And Fury is fantastic, man.
Yeah, Harsh Times. He did Sabotage with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Harsh Times. That's with Christian Bale.
Yeah, and I think he was signed up. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was signed up to do, Gotham City Sirens. The female movie where it's going to have like Black Cat, Harley Quinn.
Ended up being. That ended up being.
Is that Birds of Prey?
Yeah, that ended up being Birds of Prey.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I think if he'd done Birds of Prey, it probably would have been better.
Yeah, but I think there's supposed to be a Bright 2. So
yeah, I know Will Smith's camp wants a Bright 2 because it was quite successful. Mm-hmm. To be honest, it was a case of you know what the thing is with Bright, it was a case of I thought it was a TV show with Will Smith, and that's because it went straight on Netflix. And when you see loads of adverts with Will Smith for a new thing, it's on Netflix. I'm like, Will Smith won't do is he doing a TV series? No, exactly, that was the first thing in my brain. And then when I saw it, I was like, right, it's a movie. Okay, fair enough. And to be quite honest, like Bright's kind of like an interesting one because that's a real risk taker, that movie, because no studio would make that and put that into cinemas, No. And that's the cool thing about Netflix. They like to take risks on certain properties and stuff. That's why like you get stuff like The Irishman and stuff like that, because they know there's a risk in the theaters and stuff. But on Netflix, if you've got like a big enough name, everyone's going to watch that just for that person or just for that director and whatnot.
I don't think so. I disagree.
I don't know. It's worked quite a few times in a lot of cases. The 2 points I mentioned are examples of that, because Bright, I reckon, would have been a word of mouth movie where would have opened that first weekend, would have made moderate business, and then would have tanked due to word of mouth, because if I remember correctly, people were kind of split on that completely. There was not, it wasn't anything that blew anyone's doors apart. Whereas it being on Netflix, it's just one of those things where
it's really accessible.
People just see Will Smith's in it. That's a big enough pull for anyone, to be quite honest. Hey, you see that new Will Smith movie on Netflix? Everyone's seen it on that opening weekend, just because it's convenient to them. Right. I will admit the Netflix model, there's that whole thing of an abyss of movies that get lost in it. And I know that's something Joe goes on about, but me being an avid watcher of streaming services than Netflix, there are stuff that gets pushed higher than most. And that if like The Irishman did fantastic numbers, on Netflix. And it did. Everyone saw it, whether they liked it or whether they didn't like it. Everyone gave it a chance because they did.
I've not seen it. I know a few people.
Yeah, but you don't own Netflix, Joe.
It doesn't matter. I'm saying I haven't seen it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's a heavy statement to
it
make.
Is a heavy statement, but I guarantee you, quite a lot of people that've got Netflix and Scorsese's their thing, they've seen it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And some of the casual people that are like casually into it, you know what I mean? They want to check out what the fuss is about. You know what I mean? But it's a good way to advertise shit sometimes. And I don't know. Why are we talking about Netflix again?
Because we're talking about films.
We're into a tangent.
No, but that's the reason why I still don't agree with the advertising model is because I don't think it works. You'll have a film that's like, watch this, and it gets you'll forget about it. Everyone, there was a film. was the film called Death Note that came out. They advertised the shit out of that. No one remembers what the hell that is.
Yeah, I remember. I watched that.
Yeah, but there's a reason that was bad.
But to be fair, is there any difference between a film hitting the cinemas and then once it's off the cinema? Do you remember?
So the difference there is that it's more in your face, because if you're traveling, you'll see it on the underground, you'll see it everywhere, and you're either compelled or you're not. With that, it's fine. It's in a cinema. It has a shelf life. When it's gone, it's gone. But with Netflix, it just disappears into the ether, and you're probably, if you're looking for it, you'll find it. It's just that it's. I think they. So with a film, it has a continuous life. So once it finishes in the cinema, it will end up on home video, and then it will go to a TV station, and it'll go to Netflix, and it has a second life. With Netflix films, if it's bad, there's no second life for it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just don't think they've mastered that model of re-advertising an older film or a film that. Yeah.
I think they rely a lot on their algorithms. So they'll rely on what you've watched, and then see the algorithm suggest something for you. So they're probably thinking that is where you'll find other content. But for me, it's very rare that I actually look at what's recommended for me.
Right.
Like I tend to look at what's trending, I look at what's new, and then what I do is go actually look at Netflix originals, because I have a separate section for the Netflix originals, and I'll go through there and see, is there something that I haven't seen or I've missed, and that's where I'll tend to find most of my content.
Yeah, I see. That's kind of thing I have. Even on, I think Amazon's the way they market is interesting, but their interface is terrible.
Oh, it's awful. It's shocking.
It's bad. But they're really interesting. Oh, The Boys, and or just like random shows will pop up. So, oh wow, I didn't know this was here. And I don't think Netflix has it the best, but not right. Amazon has a lot of work to do. I've not used Disney Plus, so I don't know what what that's like. Now TV has a balance to it. No one's got it right yet.
The Disney Plus interface it's nice, it's pleasant, it's got your icons for your different franchises, and that's where you'll find most of your content. But yeah, like you say, Amazon Prime, there's so many great shows on there. I forget it exists most of the time. You know, it's like, unless it's a show, suddenly I remember you know what, I fancy watching The Office. What's that on? Oh, okay, actually, that's on Prime. But and I think the only original series I've watched on there is probably like Jack Ryan and The Boys.
Yeah.
But I know there's so many other things.
Jack Ryan any good?
Sorry?
Jack Ryan any good?
Oh, great show.
I love it. It's probably the best version of Jack Ryan since Harrison Ford. Since Harrison Ford did them.
Agreed, definitely.
All right. Moving off topic.
Covered item 1.
17 minutes to do that.
Wow.
Okay, so go on, Sach. Anyway,
an American Pickle. Okay. American Pickle. Anyone see that trailer?
Yeah, HBO Max original. It looks like quite a sweet film. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of a tentpole for HBO Max as they're looking for their original content. It's probably their first original movie that they'll show.
Yeah.
I mean, Seth Rogen, you know, he's always good in whatever he's in.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, there's rarely a film where it's a complete dud, or at least he's always enjoyable in it. So now you get 2 of him. He plays 2 different characters. So what's better than Seth Rogen? 2 Seth Rogen. It looks like a really sweet film. Pays a lot of homage to sort of like the Jews, his heritage and stuff like that. It's probably quite a personal film for him. Joe, I don't know if you know the premise, but basically it's set in old country. Guy works in a pickle factory. He falls into a bucket of pickle brine and is preserved for 100 years and wakes up. So all his ancestors are passed and stuff like that, and then he finds a relative of his who's like his great uncle, whatever it is, and that is Seth Rogen. So he's playing both those characters.
Kind of sold on that, actually.
So it seems really sweet, really fun, and I think it's going to be one to enjoy. And HBO need those, you know, because it's a platform that it's quite late into the streaming service. It really needs content which you're willing to pay for. And like for me now, it's not something I'll invest at the moment, but I know I will in the future. And that'll just be additional. Oh, that'd be nice content to have.
Yeah.
But at the moment, you know, everything I've seen from them in terms of like your Game of Thrones and Friends and everything, I've seen them all. I've seen it all so many times. I mean, I don't need. I
have it on my shelf. It's like
Exactly.
do something. Give me something new, guys. Come on.
Yeah. I think, look, basically everyone's going to hold on to their free trial until Snyder Cut hits, and then everyone's going to sign up for their free trial. And then suddenly they're like, oh, we've had 50 million new subscribers this week. But yeah, I thought the trailer was really good. Yeah, I thought the trailer was good. It looks like a sweet film.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Lee?
I think it looks good, man. I think with Seth Rogen, I think once he teams up with his producing partner Evan Goldberg, they just create gold. Like the films that they've created, like Superbad, This Is the End, The Interview, even the Preacher Show, and Pineapple Express as well. I think when them two get together, and they just must sit. Even what's that
the Boys is his, right? The Boys is his as well.
Boys.
Yeah, the Boys as well. Yeah. Even Sausage Party. So that's what I'm saying.
Sausage Party. Remember that?
That's a guilty pleasure.
It's such a weird film.
It is.
But it's really funny at the end.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
The whole meaning of Sausage Party,
Like, end credits. Yeah.
But it's like that's what I'm saying. When those two get together, I reckon their creative minds must be going crazy. Like saying, like, let's just put something out there which is different.
I'll tell you their creative process. Their creative process is like,
yeah.
Oh, I hear it.
And it works though, but they don't milk franchises. They do individual movies. They reference that they're not afraid to break third, fourth walls. Like if you look at This Is the End, they completely just like trying to play themselves in the movie.
I love that film.
No jokes. They did the Pineapple 2 Express trailer in it, and they take Nick out of Franco and Spider-Man 3. They just don't give a shit. And that film is so jokes. And I don't think people maybe appreciated it at the time for what it was.
Yeah.
But if anyone out there hasn't seen This Is the End, give it a chance, man, because the way it starts out, you just do not see it coming. If you haven't seen the trailers and stuff for it, man, it just takes some crazy turns, some amazing cameos in it, and it's great.
You know what? There's a film of theirs which I've been trying to get Ken, Chris, and Rich to watch for a while now. Have you guys seen, Joe, Lee, have you guys ever seen The Night Before?
Oh, I still haven't watched that,
Is that the one about Christmas?
Yeah.
I need to finish watching that. I watched a bit of it, but I didn't get a chance to finish watching it.
Yeah, it was on Amazon Prime for a while, and and I didn't. I was tempted to watch it, but I didn't.
Oh man, guys, you're letting the side down. All right, but Ken, seriously, movie night, me, you, Chris, and Rich, that has to be done.
All right, we'll do it via Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next? Okay.
Okay, The Old God trailer 2.
Okay, The Old God.
The Old God.
Oh, that's the Netflix movie with what's her?
Charlize Theron.
Theron. That's the one. Yeah. What was it like, guys?
It looks like a Highlander.
Oh dear. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, like the first trailer, I was like, I don't care. But then this trailer, I kind of like, it kind of gave me more about what it was about, and I'm kind of in. I like the idea. I like the premise. Yeah, it's nothing original that hasn't been done before, but yeah,
film as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Netflix film, so
Netflix
Joe won't
film.
be watching it.
It's basically because we actually covered the first teaser trailer in a podcast. Might have been 98, 99. But we covered the first teaser trailer, and we were all very much of the opinion, it looks okay, but it looks like a bog standard Netflix film. But the second trailer is edited so much better in terms of the way it sets it up. It's such a well put together trailer that I watched, because Sash said about, we're going to reveal. I'm like, I've seen that trailer, I'm not bothered. He's like, no, have you seen the new one? So I checked it out. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, I'm going to watch this now. It's based on a graphic novel. I don't know if it's going to be a one and done or whether they think there's sequel potential in it, but it's based, because it's got characters who like live throughout time almost. It's got very periodic pieces in it. I think like the Crusades and stuff like that. So there would have been some expense to that movie. So I think it must have some potential franchise. Whether Charlize Theron survives in the movie or whether she passes it on for somebody else to carry on and they can have maybe a different lead in each film, whether it's something that she wants to carry on, will be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah, that's the thing with I guess with what's to tell if film's successful online? Because I think it's only. Do any of them release their figures in terms of their viewing figures?
Yeah.
And
yeah, they do. They release them sort of like download and watch. I think the trouble is with Netflix though is you only have to watch it a certain amount before it counts towards watchable. So it might be, as long as you watch like maybe 20 minutes or something, they count it as a view or something like that. Wow. I'm not sure how their algorithm works, but you don't have to watch the whole thing for it to be classed as, oh, we got a full viewing of it. So where things like The Irishman, it seemed like really big on the first weekend or the first week, a lot of those people watched it in a few parts. Because it's like 3 hours, 3.5 hours or whatever it was.
So it's equivalent of us going to our cinema, watching 20 minutes. Do you know what? I've got shit to do. I'm going to go home and
exactly. It's like going on your breaks at work, just popping in and just carrying on watching the film.
Oh man, who used to do that, man? Was it Richard? It was Penny.
I think everyone used to do that.
Cabbage used to do that. He just used to watch a film on his break, and he'd actually spend his whole week watching one film. Oh god, that guy, man.
But I think it's twofold. They look at potentially new subscribers, and then they look at viewing figures, and I think that's pretty much how they base it on it.
Okay, that's interesting. So you could get a film greenlit if you just get like 50% of your audience just watch 20 minutes. It doesn't matter if you don't like it, just watch 20 minutes of it. just do it. Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
But there's so many streaming services, they're all battling for each other. So it's like right now it seems like all these streaming services, they will give new filmmakers a chance. In that sense, whereas all right and cool, you got something,
that's right.
You can get the staff for it, here's the budget, just bring it out, which gives like new filmmakers a chance just to basically bring out their new films and whatnot, or have a chance of breaking into Hollywood in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, if these streaming channels were smart, they could really do something with a platform for low budget first time filmmakers. You know, if they gave like first time filmmakers, if they gave them with the right promise, they premise, give them the script, everything like that, and said, right, here's a budget of 10,000, go make a movie, they could have a whole series of movies for first time directors.
Well, this is kind
potentially
of
what some channels could separate themselves apart, because like we say, you know, you've got, you know, like YouTube have pretty much given up on the original content. They did their couple of shows, they realized that the expense of it, and they're like, nah, you know, we're just going to sell Karate Kid on and whatever it is. But you know, because especially we got stuff here that we don't even have, like Hulu in America, I don't think does original content, but you know, because NBC is launching soon their streaming service, so it's going to have The Office and bits and pieces on it. You know, it basically what all they've done is, previously you had all the different networks have all their own subscriptions, and then somebody came along and said, oh, you know what if we did one way where everyone could subscribe to the same thing, which is your Sky, basically your multi-package. So it's like, right, so instead of everyone scrambling trying to get their individual things, somebody will pay £50 a month and you'll all get a piece of the pie, you know. And so everybody gets in on it. Now people are starting saying, actually, my content's really good, I think we're going to be better off on our own right now, you know. And so that's all they've done. So that's why Disney and like Warner's and everybody, they're just like, you know, we're taking all our content away from everything else, you can just watch it with us now. But it will get to a point where people are like, I cannot afford have basic TV packages will end up just not existing. Everyone gets Freeview and then have 2 or 3 subscriptions.
It's true.
And what will happen eventually is somebody will come along and say, oh, but maybe if we get Disney and you get Warner Bros., you get a discount. And then it'll just flip back to where it was originally.
It's a bottom feeding industry. It's like,
it is. It's just the trend at the moment, and everyone's so protective of their IPs. They just want to have complete control in house about it, which you understand. But it will change in the next 20, 30 years again.
Yeah, my friend Guy said that Guy's it's hard to describe what Guy's like, but he's a character.
He's a character. We had him on the podcast one time, and he was joke. What I love about Guy is that he's not your average movie watcher. He's your normal dude that like takes things as they come, and the shit that he comes out with is comedy gold.
Yeah, he's quite a funny guy.
he's a funny guy, man.
My point of bringing him up was that he's into crypto. He watches a lot of trends and rising trends, and he said that this bubble's gonna burst maybe next year. It will be a fight between Amazon, Netflix, Disney's not too sure about. He's not even. He didn't even bring HBO into the conversation. So trying to see if he's right. He was right about Bitcoin. If I listened to him, I'd be a fucking millionaire right now.
Yeah.
This was 10 years ago. He said, "Yeah, man, you gotta look out for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's gonna be a big thing, man. It's gonna be a big thing." And no one listened to him. No one listened to him. He does talk like that a little bit. He's chilled but intense. it's a way okay. So anyway, what were we talking about? The Charlize Theron film, right?
Yeah.
And again, I don't have Netflix, but every now and again there's a film that I'll go, oh wow, okay, that's on Netflix. Okay, well done. This isn't one of those films. This to me looks like Aeon Flux. It's I'm sure she has a plan for this, but it's too Aeon Fluxy for my look. And we know how well Aeon Flux did. Those 3 sequels were great. That was a joke.
3 sequels?
Exactly.
Was it supposed to have sequels?
It could. It's a giant world.
You know what? I never saw it, but recently I saw a car chase or a futuristic chase in it, and the CG was so bad. It was like PS2 graphics. I was like, oh my god.
Are you talking about Aeon Flux?
Yeah, I was like,
Aeon Flux is not a good film. This is. What
I was just like, wow, that's not even fully rendered. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
It probably was fully rendered. That's the thing.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm guessing it was. Yeah, go for it.
One thing you got to remember, Charlize Theron, she solidified herself as one of the top action actresses out there.
Yeah.
One of the last films I watched was Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, she's good in that. She's really good in that. That fight scene on the stairs.
Yeah,
beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. Mad Max.
Yeah,
how good she actually really is as an actress when it comes down to doing action films. So,
yeah, I won't take that away from it. I'll let you guys tell me if this film is good, and I'll watch it if anything. Okay, on to the next topic, and Ralph McQuarrie on Jack Reacher and an R-rated Tom Cruise project. I
wrote the wrong Ralph. It's Christopher. I wrote the wrong McQuarrie. It's okay. Christopher McQuarrie. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say Ralph McQuarrie.
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah.
Well, Tom Cruise.
For those that don't know who Ralph McQuarrie is, he's the guy that designed all the planets and stuff for Star Wars, like original Star Wars. And yeah,
explain to people what Star Wars is.
Yeah,
I'm joking. Jack Reacher. Do you think there's a TV series of Jack Reacher coming out? I thought that would have just like killed any film talk.
Yeah. So what he was talking about is that future plans that they had before, they didn't have them and stuff. So what they've done, all these action set pieces or all these ideas that they have, they're going to make an original Tom Cruise R-rated action movie. He's basically said. He hasn't said what it is. He says basically all their ideas for Reacher are going into this film.
Okay.
And it's in the pipeline after he's done all the Missions Impossibles and stuff. So yeah, it looks to be his next project post Mission Impossible.
Right.
He did speak about the Jack Reacher series, and he says it's a shame. He really wanted to come back for the second one. And he also said that if he was to pick a Jack Reacher, he wouldn't have picked that book, which is evident because I didn't like the story of that one, and I just felt the second movie wasn't as good as the first. And it'll be interesting to see like Tom Cruise in an R-rated kind of action film, because I don't think we've really had that. He's always kind of been like catering to
Collateral.
Yeah.
Collateral.
Oh yeah, Collateral. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Stand corrected. Collateral. I almost forgot about that, man. That's like the one time he's played a bad guy, man.
Yeah.
A bad guy. He should do it more often, man.
Oh, the second time was that guy in Tropic Thunder, the guy with the hands.
Oh yeah.
He needs to do comedy more.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Tom Cruise needs to do comedy more. Oh god. But yeah, that's it, really, on that one.
Did any of you guys like Jack Reacher? Any of the Jack Reacher films?
No, good.
I barely remember the first one. You know,
Right.
I think it was just. I think I remember watching it. It was like it was like the in between James Bond and Mission Impossible. It was like trying to find the middle ground. I never read the books or anything like that. So
there's a big thing about the books because the author of the books. This is one thing about the author of the books. You sold it to Paramount, so you should have really known. You should have really known that Tom Cruise would get it. Okay.
Yeah. How could he know Tom Cruise would get it?
Because it's Paramount, man. Who's the biggest star at Paramount? It's Tom Cruise. It is Tom Cruise. Like when it comes to movie franchises, Disney have everything. Okay, Universal have like their monsters. Fox have nothing no more. And then when it comes to Paramount, what have they got? Tom Cruise. They have nothing else.
Tom Cruise and Transformers, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But mainly Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise, all of his films are at Paramount. He gets a free check to do whatever the hell he wants.
Tom Cruise is going to be in the next Transformers movie, isn't he?
Yeah. Who knows?
I would watch that.
Oh my god,
I would watch that.
Him running from the Transformers.
Oh my god, Ken, you could be onto something there.
There's so much talk of Jack Reacher always coming up there because I remember I was watching the other day that The Rock was talking about he was going.
Yeah, that's right, because The Rock really wanted the role. He really wanted, and The Rock, in terms of the books, by what I've heard, because this is the thing, neither of them would have fit the role, but The Rock is closer to the role because Jack Reacher is a 6-foot built brick shithouse Englishman.
Yeah, Rock can't pull off an English accent.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's supposed to be SAS trained. He's supposed to be a Brit, which is where the TV show's going. It's going to be set in, I think the first series is going to be set in London, kind of thing. By what I've heard, because they said the BBC, I think, are doing it, and they said they wanted to be more closer to the novels. But then I didn't think Tom Cruise did a bad job in that film. I liked that first film. That second film, maybe not so, but yeah.
I never saw the second film. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Amazon,
it was.
Amazon picked up the rights to this now, so it's actually going to be a
Amazon.
TV.
Amazon.
Oh, is that Amazon?
Yeah,
okay,
Amazon.
I thought it was BBC. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so Amazon have picked up the rights. It's going to be a new TV series, so they're going to kind of do the Jack Ryan type of style with it.
Yeah.
I think that they've said that like the first season is pretty much going to be like the whole first book.
Okay.
So they're going to try and do it like that, and the original writer's on as an executive producer. Same as Clancy and Jack Ryan. So
I could see that happening because he was very vocal about getting the rights back after that first film. He just, for starters, he was just anti Tom Cruise being Jack Reacher. I was like, wow, okay, well maybe you shouldn't have sold the rights to.
I mean, it put a spotlight on his book to a bigger audience. So I don't think that's a bad thing.
Same here.
I guess you have your preferences, I guess. But I guess more on that when it happens, really. I'm going to move on to the next topic, and that is Dan Stevens talks to Guest 2. I don't know how I feel about that.
I didn't like the film. I thought the Guest was. I didn't like it at all, to be fair.
Serious? Okay.
I just didn't feel like the film knew where it was going. And I'm not going to spoil it for the viewers, but
Ken hasn't seen it. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen it actually.
Yeah, so I'm not going to spoil it. So I won't spoil it for Ken either. But literally, like the way it kind of ended to me was just like, okay, then. Do you know what I mean? So to kind of talk about a number 2, I think you should leave that.
I think they should leave it. I mean, so what happened was Dan Stevens, the Guest is kind of a cult favorite. I'm in the camp where I actually really loved it. Kind of thing. I thought it was really cool, and it was kind of a mishmash of genres because it goes from an action film to becoming kind of like a horror thriller towards the end. Exactly. And it's so left field when it makes that twist as well. But I saw it with Joe. I remember us liking it. But
I like the first film, but this is where my reservation lies. It's
exactly, and I agree. I'm like, where could they take it? So Dan Stevens basically has said that him and the director have been talking about a sequel for a good number of years, but I think it's a case of, after the ending of that first film, it's kind of one and done. I just think it should remain a cult classic,
Just leave it.
But yeah.
I guess it's like it's such a strange film.
Yeah, it is very strange.
I wouldn't know where to place it on my list of recommendation, because it goes through different genres. You think it's one film, but it ends up being a comedy that ends up being a horror film that ends up being it's weird. It's really weird. It's strange.
Do you think that being the premise that they could actually do it again, will it have the same impact? Will it mean the same thing?
I don't know. I don't know if you can do that twice.
This is just it. Unless it's a prequel.
Okay.
Even then,
because it's kind of like the way they. Yeah, I can't really talk about it without going too much into what happens into the film, really. I don't want to spoil it. But I can't see a sequel. Mm-hmm. I could potentially see a prequel, what happened beforehand. Mm-hmm. But sequel-wise, I can't really see that unless certain things that happened didn't happen. So, and also, if it had ended differently, then maybe I'd be more open towards a sequel. Mm-hmm. But because it ended the way it did, I'm very much like, they told the story that needed to be told.
Yeah,
and
it's an original movie.
Yeah, just leave it.
The next
alone.
one starts off as a zombie movie.
Yeah, maybe 20 years later, when someone wants to remake shit, and they're like, "Hey, The Guest, yeah, I remembered that." Then sure, I guess, but I think by then, depending on its legacy, we'll see. I guess, but
I'll tell you what though. Who's the main actor? David Stevenson.
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevenson. He would make a good Batman.
You think so?
Have a look at him, and he's just got that face. He's got that face for it. Either that, will make a good Bruce Wayne. But he's got. To be quite
honest, I'm not saying no, because you know what, I do like him as an actor. Mm-hmm. It's not, but I could see him very much being someone like, it's not a reaction. Do you know what I mean? When you hear a name and everyone reacts. Mm-hmm. He's the kind of. Yeah, he's the kind of name. If they said if he was Batman, I'd be like, yeah, cool, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'll see what he does, innit? But
could he be Bond? Huh? Could he be Bond?
I think he could be Bond.
He could be Bond.
Yeah. The guy who they this news that came out. Did you see the Bond news today?
No.
So people have a choice of who they would like for Bond. They did a poll of some kind, and it's this random guy who I don't think has the look for Bond. I can't even remember his name. But Dan Stevenson, better choice than who they've got now. So this guy Dan Stevenson for Bond. It starts here.
Yeah, Dan Stevens. I mean, look, he is an English actor. He did Downton Abbey, didn't he? I think that's like that.
That's what he was in. Okay.
Yeah, he did Legion. On the Fox network, with mutants and stuff like that. He played like Xavier's son. So,
that's right. That's him in Legion. Okay.
Yeah, and then he did Beauty and the Beast, which you didn't really know it was him. But
I liked him in Apostle, though. I watched Apostle on Netflix as well. I liked him in that.
So yeah, I think he's got it. He's not a bad age. I think he's like 37, 38.
Yeah, so he's the right age.
Yeah. So he's a pretty good age for it. We didn't think Daniel Craig necessarily had the look, but So yeah,
he's it's because he was blonde.
Yeah.
And that was like a swear word at the time. So a blonde Bond, you freaking crazy. It just didn't. But now I can't see past him for some reason.
Because he cemented himself in with a couple of solid movies. For me, I never really took to him until Skyfall.
Yeah,
I know me and Ken have opposite opinions of Skyfall, but for me, Skyfall was like that was the one for me. I was like, yeah,
your face, Ken, man.
Skyfall.
Yeah, he hated it.
I can understand why people like Skyfall. Don't get me wrong, but if you take James Bond out of that movie, nothing else changes.
Right, I see what you mean.
The same thing could be said.
So you take James Bond out. The villain basically wanted to mess with MI6 and kill Judi Dench's character. What was she?
M.
Yeah. And he did that. So well done, Bond. Thanks for that. You didn't do your job.
That's so
why
true.
did you bother coming out of retirement or whatever it is you did? You know, it's just like, and it was the Dark Knight. It was the Dark Knight guy wants to be captured on purpose. Breaks out, and then they go do Home Alone in Scotland, and it was just like, nah, this ain't Bond, man. I'm sorry, that's just not Bond. Setting up all these little booby traps around the house with like fucking light bulbs and shit, man. I was just like, nah, this doesn't go back to your MI6 training. You know, if it was related to that, you know, a little bit more military background or something to do with that, but he was just setting up booby traps in the house.
You were to be more brutish, like
the most devastating bit was the guns coming from his car. So again, that had nothing to do with it.
Right.
And he just didn't bring anything to the movie. Soundtrack was cool, like the song. But I mean, I knew they were trying to take it back to his roots, and look, you know, the Scottish roots actually was written in because of Sean Connery.
I saw the doc on that. I saw the documentary on that a few weeks ago.
So you know, they played it into this movie and stuff like that, and not for
they
me.
tried to get Sean Connery for the groundskeeper.
That's
no, Sean Connery's coming back for The Rock 2.
The Rock 2.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
To see that. No, it didn't do it for me.
Right, Sean Connery won't come back.
I mean, he barely came back. He was considering Indiana Jones, but he said no.
Then he saw Aliens, and he was like, "No, I'm out." He was like, "I'm out." It's like, no.
The sad thing is, his last cinematic movie was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, he needs to fix that up, man. He needs to come back with something decent. Quentin needs to write him a role in one of his films. Seriously.
Oh, mate, that's amazing.
Could you imagine that if Quentin Tarantino, his last film had Sean Connery in?
Yeah,
and it was Sean Connery's last film, everyone would go see that film, like opening weekend, guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be amazing. There's so many people, like Sean Connery was like their heartthrob, their idols, you know, and stuff like that. You know, he was he was iconic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we digress.
Yeah. Going
we
to
have.
the next topic, we talk about the director of the upcoming Metal Gear film. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. He wants to do an animated series with the original Metal Gear voice actor David Hayter. What do you guys think about that? Have any of you guys played Metal Gear? Do you think
I played Metal Gear Solid 2, I think, maybe part of 3. I'm very impatient when it comes to games.
Right.
If I don't see it moving along quickly enough, I kind of lose interest. Like Grand Theft Auto, I just can't deal. Stuff like that.
I can't deal with that game either.
I actually don't like too much freedom. I actually like, just tell me go here, I'll go here. It's fine. I have too much freedom in my life. Just give me, just let me get on with it. I know I need to get to point B. That's fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty, I know I need to go there.
Right,
so I get the hype around it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there was obviously the creative differences between the guy who created it and the last games and all that kind of stuff. But I definitely think it's something that could work as more as a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's
got definitely as an animated, but as a TV show in the veins of like, you know, I always thought of it more in like the veins of like 24. You know, pretty, maybe time sensitive. Rather than let it just drag out too long and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get me, from what I know, it's like there's probably movies worth in just the cutscenes of the games, right? So
I mean, I think altogether the Metal Gear Solid 4's cutscenes come up to 8 hours, I think. for everything put together. So
why don't just Netflix just put them together and release it as a series? Save you bare money, fam.
Yeah. You're giving them the idea, so
Start copyrighting these episodes, Joe.
Copyright strike everyone. Sony did it. I think bringing back the original voice actor is a good idea. I don't know. You'd have to, because that game's got a lot of lore in it. But it's stuff from the real world, and it makes up his Kojima makes his own rules in that world as well. It'll be a trip because it's the things that happen.
Where do you even start?
I don't know.
Yeah. Where do you even start telling that story?
Because doesn't the games like flip back and forth in time, and then you
well, this is just it. Okay, there were 2 NES games. I'm going to confuse you guys. Okay, this is worse than Star Wars. Okay, 4, 5, and 6, and then it goes worse than that. So the official order of the games in terms of playing them is Metal Gear 3, Metal Gear 5.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah.
Metal Gear 3, Metal Gear 5. Then
say
the
solid.
NES
You've
game.
Got to say solid because the
okay. So there's an NES game just called Metal Gear. So then it's that. Then there's Metal Gear 2, not to be mistaken for the PlayStation game, but another like Nintendo game.
Right.
Then, and this is the order. So 3, 5, those 2 NES games. The Metal Gear Solid that everyone knows of from PlayStation 1, then Metal Gear 2, then Metal Gear 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the order.
That
is the order. That is chronologically the order. And I swear I'm missing a game as well that's in between 3 and 5.
You don't need to mention Peace Walker.
Yeah, it had no number in it, so that's why. It's got a lore, and it shifts back and forth. And the protagonist, what you got to understand is like the main protagonist is
Big Boss.
Is it Big Boss though? Yeah, it's Big Boss. I guess
it starts off with Boss, and who's killed by.
So okay, basic premise for Ken, who has there's a guy called Snake. In that original game, he finds out the villain is his clone.
I remember that.
So there's 2 clones, and they are both clones. I'm sorry, not his clone. They are both clones of this guy called Big Boss, who's like the original villain from the NES games, kind of thing. And then when you go on later and play the prequels, you actually play as Big Boss, the father of the 2 clones, basically. And it gets real confusing.
Schwarzenegger written all over it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Who are you?
Yeah,
I'm your clone, baby. You're my clone, baby.
So it's like it's a bit crazy, man. But it's all about espionage, and like you said,
there's real world politics interweaved into it, and that's what makes it compelling, because I think it's Metal Gear Solid 2 that is a shining light to what's happening right now in the world. It's like, whoa! If you wouldn't expect that from a video game, especially a video game that's nearly 2 decades old. It shines a heavy light on a lot of the political ins and outs of how the world works, and but it's also got horror elements. It's also got comedy element. It's such a bizarre franchise.
Don't forget the ninjas.
So what would you see? Would you see it as something that they should go maybe sort of like R-rated on, or do you think it is just something that can be a little bit more mainstream? And would you have it as a live action, or would you prefer it as an animated?
Both questions are very hard to answer.
I mean,
I don't think I don't think that the R-rated element is necessary, but it would help it. In terms of its arc, in terms of a TV series, you'd have to go at least 120 episodes to scratch the surface of that.
So maybe they do fillers with animated. Maybe you can have this.
See, that's just
action
it.
series, and then you can have like this animated spin-off which kind of fills the
That's
gaps.
just
or
it.
something.
I remember when the first game came out. Like when I say the first game, the PlayStation game, you could have easily have seen that as like a action movie, as a one-off kind of action movie within 2 hours and stuff.
Because it is. It's that type of game.
Exactly.
As it progresses,
as it progressed, as the series went on, that whole notion of a movie, it just became, well, where do you start? You know what I mean? Where do you start to introduce a casual audience into it? And how many movies? Because, and would a movie do it even justice? I mean, for me personally, I don't think they should do a movie. I think Netflix, as a Netflix show, that could work really well in terms of a series, because you'd have like a big budget enough to do something.
No, I don't think.
You don't think so?
No,
I think they could.
I don't think they'll focus. If the Irishman's budget 350 mil, that would do it. That would do it.
But across the series,
you're talking about a TV series. I don't think you. 24 is probably the highest budget TV show that I've seen that does what it does. And even that, they were pushing the limits of how much money it could get out of Fox for that.
But then you've got to understand, like, there's new tech with what they've done with the Mandalorian and stuff that's pushing that kind of tech to the brink and making TV infinitely cheaper now. That's going to go across the board now. So who knows when this is going to come? I mean, that would bring costs down, if anything.
Yeah, it would. It really would. I just hope it. I don't think. Again, as you said, I don't know where you would start with this film.
Yeah,
and just thinking about it is a bloody headache, which is probably why it hasn't happened.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're like, shall we start with the third game, or shall we start with like the fourth game, or that's the thing. Because it's like,
the easier one is to start with Metal Gear Solid, because that's the most accessible in the whole series. It's an action game,
and it's the fan favorite.
Yeah, as I said, it's the most accessible. If you start off with 5, that's the most political. No way. It's you're going into Jack Ryan territory there, and I think for people to understand it, you'd have to start with the most accessible, which is, as you say, the Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. It's the most Michael Bay out of all of them.
Yeah,
is that too? But yeah,
go back to the 80s, man, and just say, all right, then cool, we're gonna get John Carpenter and just make it like
yeah. I would love to see a John Carpenter's Metal Gear Solid film.
I think we had it. It was called Escape from New York, man.
There you go. Yeah, you're right.
But could you imagine if John Carpenter made a movie today on like an action movie budget, something like Escape from New York,
or even just the technology?
Yeah, I mean, like, I would love to see him do the remake over someone else. This is taking a tangent, but I know they've been trying to make a Escape from New York film for years, but there's only one director that I think that can do it justice, and that's Robert Rodriguez, hands down, because he's got those Carpenter vibes and stuff like Planet Terror, even in like Dusk Till Dawn and Desperado and stuff. That you can tell he's a fan of those movies, because his actual movies like are very reminiscent of that. And then watching stuff like Battle Angel Alita, he's now acquired that scope, and obviously he kind of went to film school in how James Cameron would shoot stuff. And to be honest, in Battle Angel, you couldn't tell that was a Robert Rodriguez film.
It doesn't look like one.
Yeah, you could almost say it was a James Cameron one, because he for the first time ever, he hired. What you got to understand, Robert Rodriguez, he's the kind of director where he doesn't use a DOP normally. All his shots are his own, etc. But for Battle Angel, what he did, because he wanted it to look like a James Cameron film, he hired the same DOP that worked on Avatar, Titanic. You know what I mean? Like the same DOP that's worked on Cameron's films. So, do you know what I mean? It's going to have that aesthetical look. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of, he'd be great for like a Escape from New York kind of movie. The only problem is you can't have it be a 12A. It has to be R-rated, man. It's like, nah. It's like, nah.
Just before you finish, I didn't get your 2 cents, Lee. What do you make of this Metal Gear proposition.
They've been trying to make a movie for years, though, haven't they?
Yeah. The director though is the Kong Skull Island guy.
Gordon Voight Rob. I can never pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Roberts.
Jordan Roberts.
Jordan Voight Roberts.
Yes. I enjoyed Kong Skull Island, but I don't think he's the guy.
Nah, I don't think he is that action director to kind of bring this film to life, like, definitely. But it's just something that the fans have been wanting for time now, man. You know what I mean? Because I swear there was talk of it like
years ago,
like 2007 or something like that. Years ago. I remember they kept on saying then they had all these castings of like, what was it, like Mark Wahlberg even being like the lead, and then they just had this different.
Hugh Jackman was up there as well. It was
Hugh Jackman would be the perfect Snake, man. He would be the perfect Snake. And if you think about it, if you had Hugh Jackman, what was appealing is that because he's a clone, you could have him play Big Boss, you could have him play Liquid, you could have him play Solid Snake, and whoever else, you know what I mean, is a clone in there. But they're different roles. You know what I mean? They're different roles with different characteristics.
I think you need to finish Metal Gear Solid 4 before you say talk
really?
about clones, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I haven't finished 4 yet, and that's the final. So, yeah, I was just talking to Joe before the podcast about
they weren't
it.
clones; they were triplets.
No, you know what? Yeah, you know what? With triplets, yeah, how cool! If I was watching Revenge of the Sith the other day, I was like, how cool would it have been if George Lucas had dropped Mike and released another one? She's given birth and she has triplets.
Yeah, triplets.
That would be so wicked, man.
Because I just was like, yeah, it's over, I'm done. And everyone's just like, what about the other one?
That's a really different conversation.
That is, but you know what I mean? Like,
Never Skywalker. Like, that was crazy.
Was that all you were going to say, Lee?
Yeah, man. Like,
okay.
Yeah,
it would be better in someone else's hands, you think?
It's the longest process in the world, man, trying to make this film. Like, I've been waiting to see this Metal Gear Solid film for time, man. You know what I mean? As I said, I've only played like 1 or 2 games, but I didn't really get into it too much. You know what I mean? Like, I kept hearing about the movie, and I was just thinking to myself, you know what? They just need to just bring it out now. It's been too long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think the fans are just waiting. Probably another 10 more years to wait, but yeah, we'll see it.
I think in any form, even if it is a TV series or whatever they're planning to do with it, I think if it's successful, I think it's building blocks. Once you start to educate a wider audience, because not every Metal Gear is quite a niche property. So, but if people know the name, so oh, what's this Metal Gear? I heard about this Metal Gear, and if they see something that is successful on it, they'll want to know more, and they can build off from that and create the world they need to make it as accessible for a wider audience to go and watch.
Yeah, the main producer on it is ex-Marvel
Avidari.
Yeah, Avidari.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. He's quite the old guard. Okay. Next thing on the agenda: Seth Rogen to produce an animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Yeah. Okay, you go. Where does the argument start?
I'm going to say this. You know, he's totally Michelangelo.
Yeah, I know, man. The Turtles are going to be smoking weed, like pizza, like it's going to go down that route, man. Like he just like, oh god, they just need to just leave it alone now, man. Seriously.
I mean, it's remained consistent since, like Transformers. That Tales has remained consistent since I was a kid to now. In every iteration, it's had its audience, but it always herends to the original cartoon that I watched. It always goes back to that. That seems to be the drawer, and the video games. I remember the video games being really popular in my day. And I still remember them quite fondly. I used to go to the arcades to play the 4-player one. I have so many fond memories of playing that game and just watching the show. I think it's something that will always be however old you get or how many generations go by. It's going to be a staple in popular culture.
It's forever accessible, and it's like Transformers. Is always a new take on it. I loved the animated series they rebooted. I don't know if it's 5-6 years ago now, whatever it is. You know, when it was all CGI, and I really dug that. I thought it was really well written. I thought it did really well with the cartoons. I haven't seen the new version of it because I looked at the animation. I just couldn't get on board with the designs. I was just like, no, I can't. I'm not even investing in this one. But they had really good voice talent. It was like Sean Austin, and they had the original Donatello, but I think he was playing Raph in the new one or something like that. Or it might be the other way around. But yeah, they I've really enjoyed that series. I mean, the Michael Bay movies.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's upsetting about the Michael Bay ones? Because that CGI cartoon was in the zeitgeist of the kids. I thought they were going to go down that route with it. You know what I mean? Because you've got a show running on that kids are eating into, and then you got a movie coming out. And I thought maybe they would have, but no, they went and did their own thing. And
they did their own thing. I didn't like the April O'Neil character. I didn't like what's his name in it? The guy who plays the Batman voice in Lego Batman.
Oh, Vern. His name was Vern in the film.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't dig that character. There was an issue with the designs. I mean, some of the character traits themselves weren't too bad. Like the elevator scene, that was quite funny. But again, what they try and do with these movies is they try and go too big too soon. They try and do this huge set piece. And it's just like, that's not what the Turtles are about, man. They're just freaking ninjas, you know, just have them in a closed environment, just taking out people and stuff. You know, it doesn't have to be all these big, huge set pieces. And I mean, I think I remember the second one a little bit with Stephen Amell, Casey Jones, and they had Bebop Rocksteady, and I thought they were quite fun for the movie for what it was. But yeah, that was just swing and a miss. So to go back to the animated route, I think is the right decision. To try and do a live action reboot now would be the wrong thing. I remember the animated CGI one they brought out. I don't know, it's probably 15, 20 years ago now, but it was like a one and done.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really good. I remember the animation being really good. I remember the fight between Leo and Raph, and I thought that was really well done. So
I do remember that.
And I think
they were supposed to follow that up with the sequel.
Yeah, there was.
By the guy that did Hotel Transylvania and Samurai Jack, and he went and did the Turtles one, and he really wanted to do a second one, never panned out, and then he ended up doing Hotel Transylvania. And that's just it. His two favorite things were Turtles and Popeye.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Seth Rogen, who knows if he's actually going to voice anything in it? He might just be producing it, just get off the ground. But it'd be nice to see him back up on the big screen. And I think anime is probably the right way to do it now. And if they do it well, it could be the start of a whole new franchise from an animated point of view, because it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper to make than it will be for a live action.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, definitely, because the thing is this, isn't it? Is like Turtles is like you said, like Transformers in that sense. It could always be rebooted again and again and again for like new generations. And literally, I just feel like every single character like of Turtles, I say, like all the 4 Turtles in that sense, they're kind of relatable. So like in some sort of way or another, you can kind of relate to them. So it's like the generations of today can be like, I'm more like him, or he's more like my favorite, or that one's like my favorite. You know what I mean? It's like my favorite was always Leonardo. Like, do you know what I mean? Not just for the fact that he was like had the blue, and obviously he was the leader and whatnot. But it was just, I don't know. He had the ninja swords, didn't it? He had the katanas. So it was like
yes, because when I was very young, it was Michelangelo because he was the funny one, right? So you know. So then when I was very young, but then I liked Donatello at some point because he's like geeky. He was always making stuff and inventing. And then then I gravitated towards Leo, you know, because in the cartoon they made him the leader more than Raph and stuff like that. So, but then if you go back and read the original comics, they were gritty comics back in the black and white ones. Yeah. So.
They were color to begin with. They reprinted them as black and white when we were kids, though.
You sure?
100%, because I've got them. I own them. I own them in color, man.
I thought they reprinted them in color. I'm gonna have to challenge you on that.
No.
That is because I watched something. You know when they Storage Hunters, and they went back to they found some old Turtle comics, and I think they were trying to get it like signed by the guy who done the Turtles. Who made it again? I can't remember his name.
Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
Yeah.
So Kevin Eastman was there, and he was talking about it, but he was talking about the comics basically being in black and white. But then I think when they became a bit commercial and whatnot,
okay,
color.
Because they were writing and drawing them themselves, and they're publishing them all themselves.
Okay, fair enough. So maybe I got the coloured ones, yeah.
Yeah, and then they all had red bandanas.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, the first lot that came out were purely black and white because they didn't have the printing capacity or the money. But it wasn't until they started only selling them, I think, in local comic book shops. And then they started getting wider and wider out of state, different states, and then they started doing all this. And then then I think they did a reissue in a more premium format, which was color with the red bandanas. And then it went off. But
okay.
Yeah, there's actually a whole documentary on it. I think you can probably catch it on YouTube. Sort of the making of the Turtles, and they interview both the writers and the artists, and they take you through the whole story, how they came up with them. They show you the original designs, all the stuff that happened. And it's really interesting watch, actually. But,
I didn't know that. I thought I had like the collected volume, and actually, you know what? That explained. No, you okay? That explains a little something to me, actually. Okay, cool.
What did I miss?
I was just talking about Turtles and the comics and stuff like that. I just found out shit that I never knew before, and yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think it's called TMT Turtle Power, the documentary.
Okay,
and something like that. And it interviews the Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird and how they launched the comic book and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really good. So yeah, we're talking about Turtles and the new animated series and how it's just going to live on forever, man.
Yeah.
I think animation for this next iteration is probably the best way to go.
But it's this film's live action, right? It's
animated.
It's animated. Okay. It's animated.
Yeah.
I could, if the fact that it's coming from Seth Rogen, it's going to be very I don't even know. He could go the absolute normal way with it, or go his way with it. So I'm fascinated. I need to see what the animation style is like, what they.
That's going
to
be key for whether people love it or hate it before you even go seeing it.
Yeah,
is what it looks like, and people are going to judge it very heavily on that.
Yeah, totally.
Has everyone said their piece on that?
Yeah.
I guess I think I'll say more on creative control when he does his how would you reboot the Turtles?
Seth Rogen.
That's gonna have to come.
Yeah. Okay then. Next topic is okay. So Jurassic World 3 is set to resume filming again, and the original cast have a huge, substantial role in the new movie. What do you guys think about that? Are you excited to see Goldblum? I forgot the other guy's name. Sam Neill, and oh gosh, what's the chick's name now?
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern. Wow, that was a falling up the stairs trick. How do you? I for one am excited to see them back. It probably be the most interest I've had in the franchise since the first one.
The original Jurassic Park or Jurassic World?
The first one, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Okay, yeah.
And so, I'm to be honest, I'm more interested to see what how Colin Trevorrow is as a writer, because this will be the fourth thing he's written, and we didn't get to see his Star Wars stuff, and if this has been his beast of a franchise, because he brought it back, and I didn't expect it to make $2.5 billion, but people want to see dinosaurs. So if he can round this off in a really satisfying way, even in a mid-satisfying way, all it has to do is be as good as the first film or just below it, and you've won me. I don't know how you guys feel about it. What are the thoughts?
For me, I think it's more of a desperate attempt for nostalgia. I think they honeyed honey dicked us with the last one with Jeff Goldblum, in terms of the trailer.
Yeah.
Courtroom scene for like 5 minutes. I was really disappointed. I really didn't enjoy the last one. I thought it was a really weak movie. I enjoyed Jurassic World, first one. I thought that was nice. It was fresh, some new dinosaurs. The fact they had the theme park is open and it's running. I thought that was really good. I quite enjoyed it. Chris Pratt is fine. Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. Great in those roles.
Serviceable
chemistry on screen and stuff like that. So, now they're trying to bring the old guard back in and have them all together. It'd be interesting to see where they take it. The end of the last one, again, the parks were destroyed and whatnot. So it'd be interesting to see where they take it. Is it going to happen in the cities? Are they going to, because from what I remember for the last one, they escaped the island with most of them dying or something. I can barely remember the last. And then they did the cloning thing, and they were like generating dinosaurs. The old Doc came back, the original guy, and he was creating stuff.
He was re-engineering.
He was re-engineering to make them, these other ones. And I just think they're suffering a little bit from something that's going to come up on the new podcast is the Terminator stuff. Is where they keep trying to better the villain, and they keep trying to engineer different dinosaurs to try and make them more terrifying. They're now capable of sonar hearing and night vision and whatever bloody hell they want to add to it. They keep trying to make the dinosaurs better and better, and you're losing the tension and you're losing what made those movies great, I think. It's one of those that I'll see, because it is a Jurassic Park movie, and
it's
there's
the
just
last
something
one
about those. And is it the last one? Is that how they kind of?
That's what Universal say, but Universal in all kinds of trouble. So we'll
might
see
be
how that
those
goes
for now until they actually reboot it and start from the beginning again. But I'm not full of hope for it. We'll just have to wait and see. I'll tell you what bugs me about the last one is they were auctioning off these dinosaurs and they were selling for like 5, 20, 30 million. I'm like, football players cost more than this. How are these people just bidding 20, 30 million for a freaking dinosaur? Do you know what I mean? It's just, so that irks me. It should be like 2, 3, 5, 600 million. Make it something, man.
Yeah, I was gonna have a pet dinosaur in my garden. It's not a problem.
Yeah, it's like these fucking rich boys just buying them as pets and shit. And it's like, but they were trying to make it as supposed to be the sinister black market thing where they were going to release them and like create armies of them and stuff like this. And it's like, nah.
Do you know what? The world is crazy enough now is that I believe that. I believe Donald Trump said, okay, we're going to start the bidding at 50 million. These are the best dinosaurs on the planet. You're going to find the best anyway.
They're going to be the biggest dinosaurs you've ever seen.
Yeah, this is great dinosaur. We call it Jim. Jim's great. Jim will see you from 5 miles away, and he'll come and eat you. He'll eat your prey. It's great. It's great. So yeah,
we tried the wall. The wall was great. Now we're going to go with dinosaurs.
Do you know what?
He launched Space Force. Why is it going to be Dino Force now?
Dino Force. Oh, we could have a real world dino crisis. We could have a real dino crisis.
All I ask is for dinosaurs with freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
Freaking laser beams. All I ask for is for one thing: sharks with freaking laser beams.
God.
I do have faith. Sorry, Lee, you go. I want to have you hear your take on it.
Me? What can I say? Like, I didn't even know this was going to be the last one. I thought they was going to try to bang them out, just like you said, like they're trying to bang out the Terminator series or whatnot.
Right. I mean, I think it really depends on Spielberg and Universal. But as far as I know, Trevorrow's written this as a finale. So for me, this is Jurassic Park I want to see since The Lost World, where the world is. It's like, have you played the game Dino Crisis?
I have, yeah.
I want to. That's what I want to see. I want everyone to be nervous going outside. We've got to go for milk. Shit. And, okay.
But that's what I was thinking. I was thinking the only way I could see this film being 110% successful is just like being like the first one. It needs to be done whereas like it's a horror.
Yes.
It needs to be scary.
Yeah.
Like the dinosaurs need to scare the shit. Like the first one when I was young, watched that in 1993. I watched it in the cinema. I'll never forget when I saw that T-Rex coming and it grabbed that guy by the head and it was just biting off his head and everything. I was like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is nuts. Do you know what I mean? Watching that as a kid and stuff, but.
And then they're like, go buy the lunchbox.
yeah.
Hey, do you like this
kids' movie?
Lunchbox?
I actually had the lunchbox as well.
But now they release it as the lunchbox with a shaving foam can as the actual flask.
Oh yeah, the shaving foam can. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But he's going to be in it. He's returning as well. Not
yeah,
that one, but the guy he met on the island.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, yeah.
So this is all coming full circle.
Dyson, I think, or was it Bison? I can't remember his name.
Dyson. Was it Dyson? No, not Dyson. That's the guy from Terminator.
Oh yeah, it is.
I don't know who it is, but it's the same guy that he met at the beginning of the film, selling him the embryos.
Yeah, he's the one that gives him the can, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
To say, he's the one who's buying the guys who have created this can. But yeah,
do you know that canister? It has a whole fan theory and lots of YouTube videos about with the whereabouts of it, what's happened to it, because after that you never hear anything about it. Once Dennis Nidley, is that the character's name? Once he's eaten by that dinosaur and it disappears in the sludge.
Yeah, that's right.
It's never brought up again. But,
I know. I thought that's where the sequels were going to head, and then it was just never mentioned again.
Yeah,
I thought there'd be like this whole hunt for the canister. You know?
Yeah. I that's what I thought they were going with it. But I think again, wherever
that's when Ridley Scott takes over the franchise and he'll pick the one detail that everyone overlooked and be like, hey, look.
Remember this detail?
Remember this obscure thing that nobody cared about? Well, this is the direction we're going. And then open up a whole can of worms, a flute playing dinosaurs saying Alan and all kinds of shit, man.
Alan. Oh, right. Yeah, I got you. I got that reference. Again, I guess I'm the only one that wants to see Dino Crisis. That's all I want to see. I just want to. I want it to be a world, because that's what it suggested to me at the end of the last one. The whole world's going to be full of dinosaurs. Just to live or just to go outside is a risk, a high risk, or certain areas to go in America or around the world. It's a risk area, and I want to see the play on that, because I think this is something I've wanted to see since the Lost World. So it's been a long time coming, and hopefully Colin Trevorrow can pull this off. If he does pull this off, he'll get kudos for bringing the franchise back and ending it. I'm looking at you, Star Wars, properly, and that will entrust him with other projects, because I would have liked to have seen what he did with Star Wars. His what was he going to call it? The Duel of Fates. Yeah, I really want to see where he was going with that, and what the disagreement was. About that, but another story for another time. We shall move on. The next topic is Rambo Last Director's Cut. I'll say no more. Thoughts?
I haven't seen Last Rambo movie. It was one of those that it came out, didn't get great reviews. So I'm like, I'll wait and catch it when I do. But yeah, I've released an extended cut. So I'm guessing it's just probably more gruesome. Maybe there's a bit more backstory to it. But to be honest, the thing that came out of that, which was most interesting, is somebody on Twitter said, could we get a extended cut? I think it was of like Rocky Balboa or Creed or something, or Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
Said I'm actually working on director's cut of Rocky 4.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll take more of Rocky 4 all day.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how much, even if it's just another montage, just with extra footage that was missed off with another tune, I don't care. I'll as Sacha was saying, I'll buy that for $1, man. Just like
Rocky 4.
Give me some more Rocky 4.
Rocky 4 is like the musical version of Rocky, because all it is like a couple of words of dialogue, montage with iconic 80s song, insert iconic 80s song, whether it be, because they do Eye of the Tiger again right at the start.
Yeah, Hearts on Fire, man.
Then you've got Hearts on Fire during the thing. then you got something else. He's always training. There's at least like 5 montages in that film as it goes, man. It has the most montages in any Rocky movie. And do you know what? With the amount of montages and songs it has in it, that's why I make the case for a Broadway show, Rocky the Musical. They should do it. They should do it. Rocky for the musical.
Everything else into musical. There's no reason they couldn't do it. Yeah. Leo sent out an amazing video. I think it's College Humor. It might have been College Humor, but they did a mockumentary of after Rocky IV and how it was Rocky who brought down the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And they did it like as an ESPN special. It's just amazing. You have to go check it out. But yeah, I mean, that speech, man, it united countries.
Yeah.
What can you say? Bar can change. And you can
Especially
change.
with Adrian betting against him.
Everybody can change.
Yeah, in terms of Rambo 5, so I saw it, I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it. But however, it was not the send-off that I wanted for Rambo, if that makes sense. It was completely the opposite of what I wanted. And I would take a director's cut of it because I think it would probably add a lot more depth. Not that there wasn't any depth in the original cut, because I think they did everything they needed to say. So maybe it could show like more of a relationship with certain characters and stuff. I don't know how that would play to the pacing, but I'll be interested to see more people getting killed by Stallone, definitely. I didn't think it was a bad movie. I think it came out at a bad time. You know what I mean? I think if it had come at a different era, maybe a couple of years earlier, it would have been more embraced. Yeah, even 20 years ago, it'd be a cinematic classic.
3 years after the last Rambo, because I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The last Rambo,
big gap again.
Yeah, four was amazing.
Yeah.
I think what it was he wanted to do a 5, and he didn't really have anywhere to take him, and then he went down this direction. And I don't know, man. I personally think it shouldn't end like this, to be honest. I would take another one, but if you saw the way it ended, you'd be like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those.
What?
Yeah.
What? I think take another Rambo, to be fair. The way it ended, the only thing I didn't like about this last one when I watched it was like Rambo's supposed to be like Cherokee Native Indian, isn't he?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This bow and arrow kind of vet. Like he, like this one, they made him like a cowboy. And in my opinion, I just feel like they went down the whole kind of they went to Mexico, didn't they? So Mexico went against the Mexican cartel.
Yeah.
And literally it was like, and I said, like the end of it to me was like it was a bloodbath. Like he was old school Rambo. I'm taking everybody out. Like you know what I mean? Like, as I said, I'm not gonna spoil it if you can, because obviously I know you've seen it.
Yeah.
Appreciate
but
it.
he just goes on a rampage. But what I did like about it was the fact that this wasn't your usual Rambo film.
Yeah, that's right.
That you expected, it's things that you expected to happen didn't happen, and things that you didn't expect to happen happened.
Yeah.
A few scenes when I thought, okay, you know what I mean, like this is gonna happen, and then when I saw the twist to it, I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, but the thing is with that, without spoiling it, when that happens, if that was a different movie, execs would have been like, that cannot happen. Do you know what I mean? But when it does happen, when it takes an alternative road, the audience knows what's in store, and they can't wait for what's in store.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what I love.
And that's just it. It's like, oh man, shit's going down now. You know what I mean? Like it has one of those moments in it, Ken, and that's all I'm gonna say.
All right. I just think, it looks like I'll be watching that this weekend then.
But again,
that's what I'm saying.
But again,
go, sir. Sorry.
Again, I just kind of feel that I always wanted Rambo to go out with like one last mission where they needed his help. You know what I mean? Like, we need your skills. We know you've been hard done by. This is the time for us to make things right for you. If you could do this one more thing, you know what I mean? And like maybe have him team up with, because he's an older gent and they're after his experience. Maybe bring Schoolboy back from the last one. That was the young sniper guy that, like, you know what I mean? Maybe bring him back. Maybe bring in somebody from his past. Hell, bring in Arnold in there. You know, I don't know, man. Like I would have liked him to go into like more like a you know, an elite group kind of thing, you know, man on a mission kind of thing for the last one, and then maybe have him fucking die or something. But we got what we got, and I felt they did a good job at establishing where he was with his life there and stuff, and I thought it was a good movie. I did enjoy it a lot. But yeah, in terms of a director's cut, yeah, bring it, man. Slide does no wrong, in my opinion. So.
All right. Moving on. I guess Henry Cavill is not up for playing Superman. You've got a question mark at the end of that.
I was gonna not talk about. Sorry, I didn't mention that. I was gonna not talk about that and save it for another podcast.
Gotcha.
I kind of think we've talked about like DC shit enough, and I know if we talk about DC shit without Neil, like.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm quitting.
It's like what?
So shall I go all the way to Lethal Weapon then?
Yes.
Okay. Lethal Weapon 5 is a Go script, reflecting the times according to Danny Glover.
So there's a recent interview. Looks like Lethal Weapon 5 is a big priority for Warner Brothers. It's happening. Why? Yeah, 5.
No, but what? No, I said why.
What? Don't know, man. Don't know.
You know what I think?
Yeah.
My personal view on that is, I reckon by him saying that it's not like to do with current times, and like I reckon it's probably got a lot to do with the whole kind of Black Lives Matter movement. Like it probably got to do with a lot of let's implicate there being crooked cops within the system and whatnot like that. You know what I mean? And I know Danny Glover's been quite outspoken as well with some of his interviews and whatnot. So him coming out with probably like a statement on that, he probably wants certain things to be changed around.
Right.
Or unless he doesn't want to work with Mel Gibson again. I don't know. But
so the premise of the story is going to be something's going on in his neighborhood. He goes to protect. He's retired now because he is way too old for this shit. He's retired now. He goes to help something. He goes to help his family out. Maybe his son or something's in the protest, or maybe his granddaughter because his daughter married or was getting with Chris Tucker or whatever it was.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Chris Rock. So maybe they have a kid. He goes to protect him. He ends up getting killed by a white cop. And then Murtaugh is with Chris Rock, bring him back, and the two of them can be trying to sort out this infiltration of this bad set of corrupt cops that run their neighborhood or whatever it is. Maybe that might be something to do with it. But I could see Danny Glover getting killed off quite early in that one. But is Mel Gibson bankable now?
Not really.
I can't see a studio going to him and saying, I think it's time for a comeback. If there was anything that was going to be a comeback, it wasn't Mad Max. That didn't happen. It'll be this. Whether they're going to invest in him because
Passion 2,
everything that's going on and all the stuff that's been going around, the Me Too stuff and all this, I think is very, very difficult. Unless Murtaugh was fired for decent stuff at work, who knows? But it's the franchise is too old. They did a TV show that had problems.
That tanked.
They recast. Just don't do the sequel, man. It just doesn't make any sense. Whatever. If you want to go off and do another buddy cop movie, just do that.
It.
But
I think
leave this one alone.
I think where it ended at 4 was probably perfect for it.
Yeah, and that was a stretch, but it worked. They made it work.
It's the kind of franchise that if they were going to do one, it's about 12 years past its sell date. It should have come out. It should have come out in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, where nostalgia vibes were happening, where we got our Die Hard 4 and it was just about passable. Now we're looking where that kind of movie is almost a joke.
I don't think it's parody yet. I've watched them all again recently. It's just a film of its time frame.
1998, the last one was.
Yeah, that's right.
I was 19 back then. That's what I remember. I remember getting the job at Warner Brothers when Lethal Weapon came out. It was that's crazy how far long ago that was.
It was directed by Richard Donner.
Yeah. I think that's
they're all directed by Richard Donner. This is where there's traction because he really wants to do one. He's convinced Mel and Danny Glover to come back, and they're both up for it. they're working on a script. I think the studio are keen. But yeah.
Well, I don't know how I feel about it. I think if it came out 5 years ago, even then I would have said, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, Gibson's got a movie coming out, hasn't he? It's Force of Nature.
Yeah. You got to see the reviews on that puppy.
Oh yeah. I mean, he did that other movie not too long ago where he was like trying to chase down his daughter or something.
That was a good film.
Yeah, that was about 10 years ago.
Bloodfather.
That was a couple of years ago. It wasn't.
That was 2016. It was like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was a good movie.
That was a really good
also
movie.
he had the acting thing. You know, he is like 64, 65 now, mid 60s. You know, it'd have to be quite limited in action, but because it's like a cop movie, he doesn't have to be that physical at it.
No, trust me, Mel Gibson looks great.
He was in Daddy's Home too.
He's popping Iron Man. He's. I reckon he could do it quite easily. It's Danny Glover who I would be worried about. I've seen him in one film in recent years, and he looks frail.
Well, this is the thing with Danny Glover.
He's 73.
This is the thing with Danny Glover, though. Looks can be deceiving because you know what? I was in America like 2-3 years ago.
And you met him? How was he?
No.
I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
So he was on like an advert where he more or less like dyed his hair black, and like he didn't look like he aged a day.
Okay,
like,
but I mean,
he just dyed his hair. Like,
sure.
Literally.
Go and get to.
Has anyone seen Jumanji: The Next Level? Because
he was in Jumanji. He was in Jumanji. He's been in quite a few films, mainly indie films and stuff over the past couple of years and stuff. And I've seen him pop up in them, and he's not like Christopher Lee where he can't walk or anything. He can walk.
I mean,
won't be doing any stunts.
Is he Predator 2 ready? Is he Predator 2 ready? Because if he's Predator 2 ready, then yeah, fine. Give him the.
Plus, anyway, how dare you say that? He beat the Predator down.
That's
bro.
what.
So you know what I mean?
I'm not cussing the film. I'm just that's literally what I'm saying. If he's Predator 2 ready,
this is more reason why he's able, bro. He took down the Predator. Better than Arnold.
Again, I'm not arguing.
Arnold got beats. Danny just grabbed that like device and like fucked him up, bro. and then when he had the other aliens around him, he was like, right, who's next? Who's next? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, those are the final last words of someone who knows he's gonna die. It's like, okay, want some? I mean, they knew it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to go into the ins and outs of Predator, but all I'm saying is that I think Mel is ready for it. But I don't know. He was supposed to be directing Passion of the Christ 2 for Warner Brothers.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't know. It made Warner Brothers a lot of money.
It did, but I don't know, man. Like, I think I was thinking about the other day. I was thinking if
Apocalypto was a foreign movie. Well, it's not a foreign movie, but essentially is because it was all subtitles, and that made mint.
I just would have thought it would have come out by now because it was supposed to be his next thing. After
you can't tell.
I mean, how long have we been waiting for Jesus to return?
Exactly. You took my joke, man. You took my joke. Just said the customer. But yeah, I mean, I still think he's bankable. He's a good director, and I think
he's definitely more bankable as a director right now. Hacksaw Ridge I thought was really good.
Wicked movie, man.
Yeah. So I wouldn't write him off just yet. I mean, but the thing is, if Warner Brothers isn't letting him make films, I think he's been mostly forgiven. All he needs to do is shut his mouth and just do his job, and that's fine. But I think
you know what he should have done. He should have listened to his friend RDJ and taken the Marvel monies. There's still time. Norman Osborn,
baby.
Oh my God,
baby. He'd be fantastic.
We spoke about this on a podcast that's coming up. And he was our potential first choice casting.
First choice, man. First choice. Mel Gibson, Green Goblin, done, bro.
Okay. All right. Well, I very much doubt
Yeah, he
because,
won't do it, but
I'm talking about Lethal Weapon 5. I can't see that happening. But let's watch this space. Next on the agenda is Warner Brothers has Jason Momoa for live action Frosty the Snowman movie. I don't really have much to say on that. It's I don't know where they're going with that.
Is he voicing Frosty, or is it another character?
I thought he was voicing.
Yeah, because it's a live action. Obviously, Frosty's gonna be CGI or whatever it is. But I don't care.
Yeah, the last person I saw who did that was Batman. Michael Keaton. And
so we're gonna have Batman and Aquaman playing a snowman.
And I didn't like Jack Frost. It was a corny film. So I don't know what. I think Jason Momoa's going the Rock route and the Vin Diesel route, and everyone else that did like a pacifier type movie.
Making this movie for his kids, though, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's true.
I get it. I do get it. And that's the logic I'm going with this. It's a non thing for me. If I had nieces and nephews or my own children, great. If this film comes out and we're still not in a pandemic, then I guess it's put the kids in front of the TV again and stream it, kids. I'm going to go in the other room and do whatever. I don't know what to think about this film. That's a big exclamation mark above my head. Sach, what do you make of this film? Are you gonna see it first day?
I'm pretty sure it's one for the kids, man. I don't think I'm gonna be there, but I think it's for all the single mothers and their kids, man, just to get a bit of the Momoa action in it. So
it's just gonna be his voice, unless the snowman's got abs and shit. It's just like long hair and abs. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my god, that's such a weird image. There's got to be an image of that somewhere on the internet.
It'll be one of these boys. So they've obviously got him as the lead. They'll fill it with some not overly famous people to fill the other parts, but semi decent actors. But he'll be the marquee name on it. But it'll be interesting to see how well that movie performs without the visual aid of Jason Momoa.
Right.
Because. Okay, women and older people love him, women think he's sexy, guys think he's quite cool, and he is a cool guy, when you see him in interviews and stuff.
He's got the Rock persona.
Yeah, he's definitely got a persona about him. He's got a mannerism about him. Would you just want to listen to his voice as a snowman? I don't know, so it's gonna, if they're marking the film on that name, it's going to be a test for him. It'll be interesting to see. If you look at the type of properties like The Rock went with Momoa. Is it Momoa? What's it called?
Mao, the Disney film.
Oh
God, I can't remember it now. Moana. Yeah.
So
and he was fantastic in that. And that name did bring along that film, but because it was a Disney film, that carried a lot of weight. The fact that it was just a Disney movie. But it'll be interesting to see this is going to be down to marketing and how well of a Frosty the Snowman, how big it is in the States. It is going to be very much a US side thing where they're going to have to make the money. Over here in other countries, I don't know how big it is.
Right.
So
the
there's no
Frosty I know is from the slush puppy machine,
Yeah, I remember those.
So there's no director attached, but the script's been written by David Brenman, who wrote Elf. On one side, Elf's a really great movie. It's a solid script, but I think a lot of it has to be done to the talents of Will Ferrell and the fact that was directed by Jon Favreau. And Jon Favreau knows about how to bring a balance between the written word and, where the comic can take over and stuff. And that's a really good Christmas movie. It's like a movie that shouldn't work, but really does. At the same time, this guy also wrote The Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy. So it could go either way. Unless Momoa really felt the material was like, oh my God, that's actually a really good idea, a really good script, then that might bring something to the decision making there, or a lot of fucking money. I don't know, but
Dude,
you
it's
know,
the money and the fact it's voice.
yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally. So
So for him, it's just bank.
yeah, pretty much.
Money is a lot of money in it, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. When it comes to children's animation, if this is indeed a children's movie, then yeah, it's pretty much guaranteed to print some kind of money, even if it's a low amount. It's kids' movies always make money, so yeah, we'll see. Okay. Is there any other topics you want to talk about, Sach?
What's the next one?
We've got the Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that one.
Okay, so Mahershala Ali is starring and producing a boxer film, about Jack Johnson. It's a biopic. Who's Jack Johnson? I've never heard of this boxer.
He's an old boxer from way back in the early 1900s or even the 1800s.
Oh right, is this the first? Was he black? Was he? I'm guessing he's black because
yes,
Mahershala Ali is
he would be.
I think I heard about this on Joe Rogan podcast actually. Okay, I don't know much about the boxer, but Mahershala Ali making this type of film. I mean, how many Oscars does this guy want?
This will be an Oscar piece. I think the time period, artistic, I think that's probably what they'll be going for. $1 Million Baby, Raging Bull. Some of those movies when they're done really well. Even the one that Christian Bale was in. So some of those movies boxing movies can do really, really well when it comes to award season. And yeah, he's got credentials. He's a fantastic actor. But yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about the boxer, so that's going to be the challenge.
Yeah, get educating educating people about the story. So the trailer has to be on point. The first trailer has to be on point.
They'll have to do some probably documentaries beforehand, letting people know who this guy is.
It looks like he's producing it, and they've got the writers of the Green Book behind it. So if you've seen the Green Book, fantastic movie.
Fairley Brothers.
What?
Or one of the Fairley Brothers.
No, he was the director.
Didn't he write it as well?
No, he didn't. He didn't write it as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they pull off. Green Book was very, very good and very, very well researched. Mahershala Ali can do no wrong in my book. To be honest, he's always great in everything he's in.
I need to watch him play Blade first, then we'll see. I'll see if he does
because
wrong
that's the hard one. That's the hard one. But you know what? It's always hard to be the second actor. He's actually the third actor to play Blade, and
what on-screen actor?
Yeah, on screen.
The TV series.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's a reason you forgot about it because
it's a dumpster fire.
Everyone's forgotten about it.
Yeah, sticky fingers.
Even the guy who played it.
The big shame about that had David Goyer and Wesley Snipes had not fallen out, it would have been Wesley Snipes in that series.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I would have been more prone to watch it then. When I saw some other guy playing Blaze, like nope. It was an instant no.
No. And to be quite honest, around that time, he would have needed that series as well, because he was in nothing but straight
taxes to pay, man.
Yeah.
Got taxes to pay.
Yeah, would have paid his taxes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. I guess we'll hear more about the film and who's producing it. And what studio is this coming from? Do you know?
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I did watch a documentary on this boxer though. I think around the times you said is it definitely, as Ken was saying, it's definitely an Oscar piece.
Was he the one that he fell in love with a white woman and yeah, I know. Wow, this is definitely an Oscar piece. Definitely an Oscar piece.
Documentary, I think it was called Unforgivable Blackness, and I think it's got Samuel Jackson in it.
Right.
And I watched it, and literally just talked about how he became like heavyweight champion at the time, and he was trying to break the weight barrier, but around the times it was was crazy, man. It was crazy. But
watch
it's
Michelle
a lot
Williams
of
get
people
cut.
feared it.
Michelle Williams.
Watch her get cast as the white girl.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I can see that happening, definitely.
Oscar film is got to be Michelle Williams, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
done.
so true. That's so true. She does have that ability to just hoover in the Oscar crowd. She's almost like the new Meryl Streep or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, as if it is that story, then yeah, that's definitely instant Oscar buzz. Because that's a hardcore story. Yeah,
it'd be interesting because the momentum's building on this Mike Tyson movie as well. Because it's like there's not a lot about it, but Jamie Foxx himself keeps dropping bits on different like interviews he's doing and stuff like that. So they showed the picture of him training. Man, he's built. He's got the voice down. He even talked about how the whole opening shot's going to be. So he's like really into this thing, man. So it might be a case of these two movies having this kind of comparison kind of thing. But yeah, I think the Mike Tyson's one's going to be a little bit more glitz and glamour, probably more Rocky style, like big and bold.
You have to. But Jamie Foxx is capable of the other side. If you look at what's the film where he played the piano guy? The cello,
right?
The
right.
celloist?
Yeah. He has that. When Jamie Foxx is actually a very talented actor, and this actually might be a very serious biopic that we're really not expecting. And it might be more sort of like the Ali style. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go with that. And these two films might be sort of like comparable in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the world's going to see that Tyson. Everyone knows who Mike Tyson is. Everyone knows who Mike Tyson is.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? It's coming at a very, very. Everything's colliding at a very strange time because you know what, Tyson. If you've seen that video,
he's coming out of retirement. Yeah.
He's coming out of retirement, and I'm telling you, bro, that video, that guy. Oh my god. The speed.
He lost the belly and everything, Kenny. He lost his.
Yeah.
Oh
my days, mate! He was incredible. Did you guys have all seen the footage, right?
Yeah, I've seen
sparring.
I saw on Joe Rogan.
God. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm sorry. When that fight airs, I'm going to whatever. We need to go out and watch that fight, man. Seriously, I ain't doing that around someone's house. I'll go to a sports bar and like fucking I think
everyone will be at a sport just where people are. Said, do you believe he's fighting again? No, I can't believe watch this fight.
Mental.
Yeah. Oh, is anything else? Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about? Is there anything?
One thing I was going to mention, which is like, because we were talking about streaming networks and everything earlier, and one that's kind of it's a little bit under the radar is Quibi. So. Quibi. Yeah, Quibi is QUIBI. Now it's a new streaming platform and it's aimed at the mobile experience. And there's quite a few new original programs on there. You've got, I think, like a Sophie Turner one on there. Chrissy Teigen's doing a new show on there. They've got a Fugitive reboot on there. It's got old stuff like Punked and Singled Out and stuff like that. But there's a lot of big celebrity pieces on there, but it's all supposed to be like short content, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, this kind of stuff.
Right.
There is a new movie coming out on there, Kevin Hart. It's called Die Hard. So it's like his action comedy movie or whatever it is.
Right.
But it's also going to have a special Steven Spielberg thing. It's called Spielberg After Dark.
Wow.
And you'll only be able to watch it at night.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you won't be able to watch it any time of the day or download it. You'll only be able to watch it at night.
Wow.
I mean, I haven't checked out any of the shows myself, but I've just been hearing about it. I think it's got a 14-day free trial or something like that. So I might wait till the Spielberg stuff hits.
See, now that's an interesting twist. So in what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Just having it, you have to. If you don't watch it at this time,
it's tough. Yeah, exactly. So really interesting. So like check it out, see what's on there. But I think I think it might have a little niche market, especially where people's attention spans, some people's attention spans are shorter. They want crisper content, and if you're watching like 10-15 minute short films, and that might be the platform. I was mentioning earlier about sort of like newcomers and having like short movies and stuff like that. That's probably the platform where you'll be able to.
Maybe I should release the whole Little Guy anthology on there.
Absolutely, man.
Maybe you should
release it weekly.
Yeah, there you go.
Episodes per week.
The platform for you, man. Lee, anything to plug? I know you've
we've been working on a horror film, man. We haven't got anything to plug because Lee's doing the festival circuit with it. So
okay, Lee's doing nothing.
I
hope I get a special thanks.
For what?
Nah, listen, definitely like Joe, Ken as well. Thanks a lot, man. Seriously, like I got to thank you guys a lot for it, man. Seriously,
that's cool. It's great that you did something during that time as well.
Ah, bro, definitely. When I saw everything, and even some of the parts that you mentioned as well, Ken, when you pointed out, like, obviously when I was wearing the camera and the knife, she was like, why is there a random knife on the bed? I was like, oh yeah.
Mate, we've been there, man. We've been there making our short movies. Continuity's a bitch.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Oh, I loved it, man. Nah, seriously, no, I gotta thank you guys. Seriously.
No worries, man. No worries. Let us know how that develops and what happens to it. And are you doing any more? Are you gonna film?
Yeah, I'm working one with Sacha again, man. Gonna make another one with a bit of a twist to it, like something more like M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Just make sure it's just not as bad as Lady Underwater, okay?
No. I'll stay for that.
Okay. Ken, I know you have something to plug.
Yeah, so I've been talking about this for like a year and a half or something. So I started off with a podcast called Friends Talk Film. Then my friends didn't want to talk about film no more. Basically, they all went off, started getting married and having kids and stuff. So I had no one to talk to. So then I had like Ken Talks Film. And I got lonely, man. I was just sitting there talking to the camera myself. And so I talk about movie news. I would talk about film trailers, film reviews, and all that kind of stuff. But it's quick paced, man. It's like you guys know, when you want to talk about this stuff, you got to do it consistently. And I just wasn't finding the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been talking about it a while. So now this has been like plugged here the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
So talking with Joe and Sacha, who have been doing Zedos Gang for some time. So it's going to be a spin-off from Zedos Gang movie podcast. It's going to be called Creative Control. So basically the premise of the show is single topic episodes, and it's what we would do if we had creative control over a certain aspect. So for instance, I think our first podcast, we've recorded about 4 episodes so far. So the first one is sort of like what would we do with the DCEU? Where do we take it from here? And so we have guests come on, especially people from Zedos Gang. We have Sacha on, we have Leo, we have Neil, a couple of some other friends who have some fresh faces, fresh views. And we just tackle that one subject for the podcast, and we just talk about that, what we would do, generate some ideas. And then we're going to ping that around the world, and maybe somebody will listen and do the right thing by some of these characters and some of these things. We'll also take some things on where we could think maybe movie franchises can go. So we talked about one episode is going to be about the Fantastic Four, who we should cast, how they should be introduced. We talked about Terminator, mistakes of the past, how we can fix that, where do we take it, what can we do with it to redo the franchise. So we're kind of visiting mistakes of the past and how we would change them and reshape it going forward, and just looking at potential future projects and what we would do with those. So Creative Control is going to be coming soon. Been really enjoying doing it so far. So now we've got a few episodes under our belts. Time to get onto the editing and releasing these. So hopefully I'll be releasing them every couple of weeks. But I wanted to be in a good position where we could keep the content consistent.
So you can keep
people invested in it.
Something banked.
Because the worst thing you can do is release a podcast and then you don't do one for another 6 weeks.
That's true. Bank them up.
So I'll be plugging it on here and sharing it. So Lee, if you're interested, I can get you on there, added to the group.
Yeah, I'm down, man. I'm not gonna lie, because of you guys as well. Definitely is like one of my friends was talking about starting up a podcast. We did do like 1 or 2 episodes. It's called The Pirate Bay.
Oh, okay, Pirate Bay. I like that.
It's old school, but it's like this one we just do comparisons as well. So it's like the latest one we done was Tom Cruise versus Denzel Washington.
Oh wow,
who's the better actor? And the next one we're gonna do is like Tarantino versus Spielberg. Who's the better director? So
controversial, man. Controversial.
It's going down that kind of route, as in like, all right, cool, we just do quick comparisons, but it's just like it's a quick podcast. It's nothing, right? It's just
All right, Lee, I'll get you added to our WhatsApp group, and then you know, because basically,
Yeah, I'm down, Ken, man. I'm down. Listen,
we put the ideas out there, and when people are free, we just get together, and it's always going to be different people every week. Like same as Zedos gang, you know, just we're always getting different opinions, different views, and stuff like that. So
yeah,
roll them in.
Mm-hmm. I'm down.
Okay, Sach, have you got anything to add, to plug, to anyone to think about?
Yeah. If you're ever online and you feel like playing video games, go check out Antstream. You can't even read that, but it doesn't matter. But go check out Antstream. It's this new streaming platform where you can play retro games, Amiga, Commodore 64, Spectrum, old 80s and 90s arcade games, Space Invaders, Bad Jews versus Dragon Ninja, Asteroids, all kinds of crazy stuff. Go play them all online. Touch of a button, $5.99 a month. Boom.
Okay, there you go.
One streaming service to invest in.
Yeah. You got streaming service all here. Okay, and that brings us to the end of this episode. It's a bumper-packed episode. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Sach, for joining me. And this has been the Zedos Gang podcast. And we're out. Go on, do it. Come on.
I am the man that killed Jamie Lannister.